I am determined. I'm going to stay with it.
I remember for me, I started in a tiny village in Haiti.
There was nothing in the village. No running water, no electricity. My mom left me in the village when I was only 9 months old. She had to go find a better way to provide for me. Her absence left such a void in my life.
And my message is simple. It doesn't matter where you are in life, it's where you're going.
I came to this country with $5, 2 shirts, and 1 pair of pants.
My God.
And I didn't speak any English. I
didn't speak the language?
No, not one word. This is what I came to America with. I want to show you something. When I became a U.S. citizen, they gave me a gift, and I traveled the country. I talk about my gift. You want to know what my gift is? It is a flag of this great nation, the country of which so many take for granted. I am so grateful for.
I experienced what Joseph Campbell calls the dark nights of the soul, many of them.
Some of the people in the village, they predicted that I would not survive to be a man. But somehow there was something in me that did not want to give up. You need resilience to stay in the fight, to stay in the race. When the tough times come, and yes, they will come. And I left the village, went to Port-au-Prince to be with my mama. I thought mama was rich. I thought she was doing great. Because when I arrived in Port-au-Prince, I saw cars, I saw motorcycles, I saw bicycles. But I was disappointed when I got there. My mom was living in a little dungeon infested with rats and roaches. My brother, my sister, and I, we slept on the floor with the rats and the roaches. There were mornings when the rats would nibble the bottom of my feet. You know, something that happened to me in Port-au-Prince, I was at a place called Champ-de-Mars as a poor kid walking behind the American tourists who came to this country with an extended hand, begging for whatever they could afford. One American couple gave me a dime, and they touched me compassionately.
As a result of that, a dream was born in my heart. I said, one day I'm going to go to the United States of America to eat lots of rice and chickens. Yeah, I'm about sick of rice and chickens now. Give me some steak. See, I tried to get a visa to come to the United States. They denied me. But whatever is necessary. The truck drivers bringing people to the United States, he showed me where I was going to hide. I was going to wedge myself underneath the truck between the rear tires.
So I'm underneath the tractor trailer, an 18-wheeler, in a push-up position, and I remember that they say, hold on. And I kept saying to myself, I am going to make it.
I stayed there, and the truck took off.
Yes, I was covered with ashes, dust, and smoke, but I made a prayer underneath that 18-wheeler.
I made my prayer. I said, God, I promise you, if you help me make it to the United States safe, I will do something with my life.
It was 2 o'clock in the morning. We were at the border, and I'm underneath the tractor trailer, and I'm praying, God, please.
And then the immigration officer came. I was watching his boot as I was underneath the truck between the rear tires. I had dust in my throat. If I get caught, I'm in trouble. And I remember when he said to the truck driver, go ahead, have a good trip. You're gonna find yourself underneath a tractor trailer in your life. It's gonna be something that's going to shake the ground under your feet. I'm telling you to just hold on. Problems and challenges, they don't show up to destroy you. They show up to reveal to you who you are.
You see, most people, because of my story, would give up on life. I did not give up. I decided that I was going to do it, and I was going to be a speaker. And I kept speaking, I kept speaking, I kept speaking. Some people would ask me, how is it that you came from poverty, diseases, you fought, you struggled, you battled, and now look where you are? No matter how many rejections you get, you say that you will not quit, you will stay with it. And then you learn to model success. I saw people from all walks of life living the dream, different races, nationalities, and I said, if it's possible for them, it's possible for me too. If that's you, that's going to really make it big enough, like come up front, and I want somebody to take a picture for us really quick. This is, oh man, give him a big hand. We're gonna show the world what we can do in Aflac, am I right? That's awesome. Anybody would like to a free copy? I'm giving away 4. When I speak to leaders today, I always tell them it's not about just braving the storms. It's also about teaching your team members to dance in the rain during the storm. It's about planting seeds of courage and of hope and resilience in them. At that point, we are not talking about leadership. We are talking about leaving a legacy. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. At home watching television. It's a boring television night. There's not much to see. The remote control is in your hand. It's one infomercial after another, promising you the world. You can drink this one little pill and eat all the pizza and lose all the weight or whatever they are promising you. Boring infomercial. But then you come on to this one infomercial that really tugs your heart. It's about the starving children in Africa. You see the camera zooms on a village, and this little boy is standing there. He can barely breathe, and he is surrounded by flies. He is starving, he is powerless, isolated and condemned. Doesn't look like he's going to make it until the next day. And you kind of felt bad about it. By show of hands, how many of you have seen one of those infomercials in your television before? Yeah. Ma'am, the little boy you saw on your television, powerless, isolated and condemned, was me. That's my story. Ladies and gentlemen, it is never about the story, it's about the story of the story. You see, most people, because of my story, would give up on life. They would create another story to give up on life. But I did not. And so along the journey that brought me from the little village where I started in Haiti to the man who is standing in front of you today, I have to say there are 3 fundamental keys that did it for me, that helped me to achieve everything that I have achieved in my life. And those are the 3 keys that I'm here to share with you. They are very simple. Most people are looking for complicated things to success, and they're complicated. They make it so hard, but it's not that hard. It's very simple. The first key is you must learn to stay with it long enough to make it work. And the second key is to learn to model success. Do not reinvent it. And the third one is to have a B attitude. The B attitude is B-E-E, and I'll tell you what that is in a moment. So let's talk about the first one, the spirit of not quitting. See, most people invest so much time and energy into something, and then they're not seeing the results fast enough. It's not microwave enough for them, and they walk away from something they have invested so much into. They were so close to the gold, so close to get to the promised land that they were looking for, and they walk away. I started in a small village in Haiti. The village was very primitive. There was no running water, no access to medical care. I remember the first time I saw lights in the village was the time I saw the headlights of an old battered truck, Voici Fan. I got dizzy. I ran away. My mother left me in the village
when I was only 9 months old. Not because Mama was a bad mother, but because she had to break the cycle of poverty. She had to go to Port-au-Prince, the city, to find a better way to provide for me. But right after she left, several deadly diseases pounded me. They vowed to end my existence. I remember during the day I would be on the dirt floor, fending flies off my face. And at night I would shoo away the mosquitoes. And I would be hungry, I would be sick, and I would be crawling on the floor in the middle of the dirt floor at night, calling for Mama, 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 but she was never there. Until eventually I would curl into a fetus position and I'd fall asleep while crying. There were times that I didn't really want to go outside and even wake up, because so many people in the village, they gave up on me. They called me names to belittle me. They called me Suyan and Kokobe. I've told that Suyan is a man who was crippled in the village. Kokobe is a Creole word that means crippled. But more importantly, most of the people in the village gave up on me. They predicted that I would not survive to be a man. How do I know that? Because I was a little child at the lady I was staying with, Betila, and a man came to see her, and he told her in front of me that you are wasting your time with him. He is not going to survive. So although most of those people in the village wrote me off, they gave up on me, but here's one thing, they were not my maker. As you look at your life, and some of you can go back and remember people who predicted that you would not succeed in this company. And you went against the odds anyway. You never gave up. You stayed in the battle. You faced the rejections and you succeeded anyway. And some of you can remember there are times that people will look at you and they will kind of like give you, and some will tell you directly and some will tell you indirectly. But don't listen to them. They are not your maker. The key to your future is in your hand. It is totally up to you. Now, in the village, life was really tough, and I remember. How many of you remember 1999 at midnight? What was supposed to happen? Y2K. That's right. And then so I was home in Smyrna, Georgia, and then this lady called me trying to alert me that it's going to be the end of the world. I said, how so? How is it going to be the end of the world, ma'am? She said, well, think about it this way. We will not be able to go to the banks to get our money, to go to gas station to pump gasoline, to drive our car. We will not be able to go to the grocery stores, the cash registers. Everything will come to a screeching halt. It's going to be the end of the world. Can't you see? Even electricity in your house will go out. The gas and everything. She started giving me a whole list of why it's going to be the end of the world. I said, ma'am, wait a minute now. I started having a flashback. I said, really? No electricity? No gas? No bank? No car? I said, ma'am, it's going to be the end of your world, not mine. Because I was born Y2K ready. You see, in life, people will base the failures. Okay? They will take all the things that they failed to accomplish, all the failures, and take them all and pile them into a bundle. And when you try to attempt to do something, they will judge you and tell you that it's not possible. You cannot live the Afla dream because you don't have the ability to present yourself, to speak in public. Wait a minute now. I wasn't born a speaker. I was a very extremely shy guy. I remember the first time I gave a speech for Toastmasters International. It was an icebreaker. How many of you are familiar with Toastmasters International? Yeah, the icebreaker. I mean, I was supposed to talk about myself. But I went on the thing, I was so nervous, my heart was pounding, and I forgot my name. My mind checked out on me. But guess what? I did not give up. I decided that I was going to do it and I was going to be a speaker. And I kept speaking, I kept speaking, I kept speaking. The best way to get over your fear is to face your fear. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, do the things you fear, and the death of fear is certain. So I don't know how many of you are new associates here. How many of you are less than 2 years with Aflac? Just raise your hands. Wow, quite a few of you. I'm here to tell you there are times that you will wake up, you will think about giving up. You will think about quitting. And then don't think you are alone when you think about quitting. When you think about giving up, you are not alone. Because the reality is every single one of us, including the top people you see all the time on television, they woke up sometimes in their life, in their career, and they thought about giving up. The difference really is they did not give up. We all have those thoughts that we want to quit, we want to give up. But I'm telling you, the quitters never win, and the winners never quit. If you stay with it long enough. Now, I left the village eventually. I went to Port-au-Prince to see my mama. It was the first time that I was going to meet my mother and my sister, whom I didn't know, and my brother. They were living in the city with my mama. And when I arrived, I carried a sack of yams and live chickens. And to this day, I still keep that culture. That was our culture in the village. When we go into the city, we always bring a little gift. I brought those things for mama. I arrived in Port-au-Prince. And quite frankly, when I got to Port-au-Prince, I thought the gods must be crazy because I saw a lot of cars going up and down the street. I saw motorcycles and bicycles. I saw tall buildings. And I'm like, Mama must be rich. And when I arrived, I started calling for Mama, just like when I was in the village at night. But this time it was a different calling that I was doing because I knew Mama was going to hear my voice. And Mama knew that I was coming. My sister and my brother, they waited on the curb for me. When they saw me, they ran and they embraced me, embraced themselves, and we were all cuddled together. And then Mama was in the back preparing something for me. And when she heard me, the woman dropped everything because she hadn't seen her little baby boy since I was 9 months old and I was 7 years old when I arrived in Port-au-Prince. And Mama dropped everything and she wiped her hands and she walked toward me and she stretched her arms and she went down and I run and I just jump into my mother's arm. Ladies and gentlemen, that felt so good. Psychologists say children who are not held, touched, and cuddled have a tendency to shrink instead of growing. Prior to that, I was shrinking. But in my mother's arms, I felt like a giant. Sometimes you will find that in your career. Your customers, the people that you are nurturing, that you have there. And sometimes all they need somebody to just listen to them. Sometimes all they need somebody to just stretch their arms and show that there is somebody who is there for them. And it is not just all about business. It's about making a deeper connection with the people you serve. That's what matters. Now, in Port-au-Prince, the conversation was one of discouragement. Give up, give up. How do I know that? They had it in the songs. They talk about it everywhere you go. It's just like everybody, they're telling you that's all there is to life. Again, I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you cannot judge your future successes based on your past failures. That doesn't make sense at all. All right? So I'm in Port-au-Prince, and I'm thinking like, no, there's a better life. There's a better life. And then one day I couldn't eat. Mama didn't have anything to cook for us, and I was so hungry. And there was a lady by the name of Tatida in the neighborhood, and I went to Tatida, and I was talking to her. She was an old lady. But even though she was just as poor as we were, but for some reason she had a vision. She could see into people. Here's what I want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. You need to surround yourself with people who can see something in you that you cannot see for yourself. people who will believe in you, people who will cheer you on. That's what Tatida was, right? And then I went to her and I said, Tatida, it's not fair. In my little kid voice. She said, why? She said, I said to her, I'll never be anything in my life. I can't eat, Mama can't cook anything. When Christmas comes, there was never any toys for us. And I'm watching the kids across the street playing with the toys. And life is unfair, and that's all there's going to be. And I never forget. She looked at me with a penetrating stare. And she told me, don't you ever talk like that. She said, there is something big in you. In spite of your circumstances, in spite of where you are. Ladies and gentlemen, where you are is not who you are. You're much bigger than that. She said, one day you're going to go places. You're going to make a name for yourself. You're going to travel all around the world. You'll have plenty food to eat. Food will never be an issue for you. And every time I hit a stage, I think of Tatida. How many of you here are sales managers here? Just raise your hands. Let me see the sales managers. Quite a few of you. That's your role. That's the nurturing role. Your associates in the field sometime will come after a rejection. They'll be discouraged. They'll come to talk to you. They want a little bit of encouragement from you. They want to hear some nice words. They want to hear that you can cheer them on. Now, I'm in Champ de Mars in Port-au-Prince. I'm walking behind the American tourist with an extended hand, begging for... by the way, any of you have been to Haiti before? Any of you? Oh, all right, quite a few of you, right? All right? I'm walking behind the American tourist with an extended hand, begging for whatever they could afford. And one American couple gave me a dime, which was a lot of money. And they touched me compassionately. As a result of that, I said to myself, one day, I want to go to the United States of America to eat lots of rice and chickens. I'm sick of rice and chickens now, quite frankly. You know, I want the steak or lobster or something, right? But that was a dream for me, to come to America to eat lots of rice and chickens. And so I'm going to tell you, when you face rejections, which you will, life is an 80-20 rule, like Vilfredo Pareto, the Italian economist, tell us. Do you know, ladies and gentlemen, 80% of the income in this room is owned by 20% of the people in this room. 80% of income in Aflac total is by 20% of the people in Aflac. This is incredible, but this is good math. This is what it is. The question is, and 80% of your leads will amount to nothing. But how do you know? You don't know which one is the 80%. Go ask the farmer. When the farmer takes the seeds, plants the seeds, it doesn't know, right, that it's only 20% of the seeds that is going to yield a crop. The farmer nurtures all the seeds. That's what we do. But I'm telling you that because when you go in the field and you face rejections and disappointments, so that you do not give up and you understand that's part of the 80%. You've got to go through the 80% to get to the 20%. It's a numbers game. That's what it is. And so how do you really unlock the key to dream the Aflac dream? How do you do so? How you do it is you've got to have a vision. You've got to have some goals. You can't just wing it. You've got to create a vision for yourself. When the American couple touched me, I created a vision for myself instantly that I want to go to the United States of America. Now I began to collect little American flags. You got to surround yourself with what I call triggers, to trigger you, to remind you of the vision, to remind you if there's a number that you want to make in Aflac, because, you know, you cannot fail in Aflac. It's impossible to fail. If you fail, it's your fault, really. I hate to say that. But, you know, they created it in a way for you that you can't fail. And so I had the vision. All right? And so I put all the little flags, and eventually I left Haiti. Okay, I was playing theater, drama with a theater company, and I went to Montreal, Canada. And from Montreal, Canada, I came to the United States of America. Now, I'm not going to tell you how I came, because I don't know how many of you are working for Donald Trump. So I'm not going to tell you, but I'm a proud citizen of this great country, and I love this country